Hey there, Goa fans. This is Mark DJ Solitaire here with episode 81 of Retro Goa Explorations, my weekly series in which I share in every episode one of my favorite tracks from the 1990s Goa Trance psychedelic dance movement. We are still in the 96 to 97 season, tracks that I encountered during the period ranging from September 96 through to August 1997, time when I was living in London and getting exposed to lots of new music, meeting producers, and so on. And this track is one from an all-time favorite project, a track that I think has been a little bit more under the radar than a lot of their productions. And it was released in July 97. I am pretty sure that I got it in August. That's kind of, I've really got it in my head. Certainly, it was very much on my mind, in my ears, in my practice sessions during that particular August, which I remember really well. It was only on vinyl. I know there's all those people out there who say, I've got this on vinyl. I'm usually the one who's saying, I've got this on CD. But this one I have on DAP from vinyl, and I can't remember who it is that I got it from. But I do remember getting it and thinking, ooh, I love this track. This is by Total Eclipse, Collapsar, which was on a Blue Room single, and is just an example of, I think, the elegance and refinement and the real kind of magical morning music that Total Eclipse was absolutely brilliant at. Now, they've got a lot of music, a lot of different kinds of music, and I've talked about this before. They are one of the, I think, most versatile projects from the time, with a range of different sounds that are equally part of their signature sound, right? So there's a lot of rougher around the edges, kind of grungy, gnarly kind of stuff. Very powerful, high energy, but also deep and dark. And then they've got this kind of music where there's this these sinewy synthesizer sounds, very transparent engineering, beautiful lyrical voicing, really incredible textures, and very evocative, very otherworldly. The harmonies and the sort of signatures in here remind me quite a bit of Toxic Caterpillar, which I unfortunately didn't cover in this series. I might go back and do some of these other tracks that really need to be done. That was a really important track in 94 because it ended up being in a major French movie in a nightclub scene. But it's got this that sort of this nasal kind of evocative, weird, quixotic kind of sound to it. And around the same time, a little bit before this one, Collapsar came out, there was a beautiful Scarab remix that they did of Pranas, which is also this very kind of morning, just as the light is starting to change kind of sound. And, this was really a sound that I was very much into. I was really intrigued by what happens at parties when you're outside and what's the sound of, being out in nature. And especially when you're at that darkest point of the night, and then you just start noticing second by second it's getting lighter. And for me, Total Eclipse were absolutely perfect for this kind of transition. They had a lot of tracks that worked really well like this. And this is, for me, it's one of the epitomes of this kind of transition, dawn kind of track. Lots of evocative voices and sounds like, birds chirping and the murmuring of nature and all kinds of wonderful things. I think this is absolutely brilliant. When I reached out to Steph to tell him I was going to be doing this track, he's like, why don't you do Chaotic Circus or something else? People really like, that and those other tracks. And I was like, yeah, but people really need to know this track. I think this one went under the radar. I don't think it ever made it on a CD. It might be on some compilation that I'm not aware of, but I never got it in digital format. And so I ripped it off vinyl from someone. Can't remember again when, how, who. But I think this is fantastic, and we are going to listen to it now. So here we have Collapsar, which, by the way, means a collapsing star. It's actually a scientific term. Steph pointed it out, and sure enough, it is on the internet, so it must be true. So here we go with Total Eclipse's beautiful morning track, Collapsar. So just this repetition. I mean, the sounds are very evocative. This kind of this natural woodwind kind of sound. And then there's these beautiful little mystical sounds that come, like little bugs or insects or birds or some kind of whispering sounds. It really is just perfect for sunrise. Pre-sunrise, sun's not fully up yet. The elegant, all of the sounds are super refined. I mean, it's really otherworldly, and it really also does sound like a sunrise on another planet. Here we get that beautiful Total Eclipse heart chakra kick. I think they were really great with this particular level of kick. It really adds a lightness to it. And there's all of these voices repeating in regularity. There's this kind of mantra-like, drone-like effect that starts to really trance you out. And each of these voices just coming in and becoming a little bit more and more pronounced. And the rhythm as well is infectious. The interplay between those voices. You know, I really think we're lacking this kind of upbeat, yes, another day is coming enthusiasm in music these days. It's just magnificent. So this cool, like, chugga kind of effect. None of it's too heavy. Everything's very streamlined and elegant. Okay, those hi-hats kick in. Love the way things come in on different beats. This rise coming here. That one punctuation is coming in more regularly now. Now with the break. It's coming on the next 8-bar cycle. Listen to that layering of that percussion and just the crispness. It's so beautifully articulated. It's really been this beautiful, long, slow build, right? Just notice how the energy's built, and then you get this completely quirky, otherworldly little alien melody here. So Total Eclipse. And right now it's just a germ, just this little riff, this stem, and now it's going to start to evolve. Just incredible optimism. The way some of those other voices are still in the background. And goosebumps. The way there's that undercurrent, that rhythmic piece that's... Now we get this doubling, this octave. It's like more birds or more people are waking up to the beauty of the day. chunky. Still light, but it's still so pronounced, the rhythmic element. There's always more and more layers coming. The transparency is absolutely incredible. I mean, the engineering for 1997 is just off the charts. I want that aerated wind. Beautiful chugga chugga, isn't it? Now we get a variation of that theme. So it's like you kind of process that first introduction, and now there's a little evolution of the message. And then, yeah, this goes up. And then a little change of the note here. And now we go back down to the original. The original lower riff, that is, and now we're going. Ooh, doesn't go up. Always playing little surprises on you here. There we go. Notice, again, the layering of those voices is incredible, right? One of these sounds is part of that Scarab remix as well. That chunky stuff there. Really just hypnotic at this point, right? This beautiful, elegant alien voice. And we have some pulling back over here. More pulling back. It's like, wonder what's going to happen here. This just comes out of left field, this sort of real variation on that riff. A little bit more inquisitive and a little bit more, I don't know, tension. Is very curious kind of riff harmonically here. And where this goes. And then it just ends in a very unresolved kind of way. Very curious. I mean, really quixotic and fun and funky and beautiful and elegant and kind of weird. And just a fascinating combination of emotions and styles and textures. And I mean, the instrumentation is gorgeous. And again, that's, one of, when I think of Total Eclipse, I know that a lot of folks first heard their more, that grungy, gnarly kind of sound. But what I was first exposed to was really, Aliens and Sound is Solid, both of which have more of this kind of streamlined sound. And then Toxic Caterpillar. And then this and that Scarab remix, they have a number of tracks that really are more of that glass-like streamlined quality, not just that high energy intensity stuff. And this is what I think made them always for me back in the 90s, and was really lucky to know them and to hear them lots of times live between 96 and 99, including at the Total Eclipse in Solips, was, the range. They just seem to have more range than most artists, more different styles that were distinctively theirs and yet not monochromatic. And this track for me has just been a long time favorite. It really puts me in mind of August 97 in London. It was one of my all-time favorites back then. And I just remember the energy of that particular month with, what was going on with events and friends and the beautiful sunny weather and all of that. There was at the beginning of August in '97, there was a Blue Room party at Kentish Town Hall. Massive event. Um, and I know that Total Eclipse and Extreme were on the lineup, and one of them couldn't make it, and I can't remember which. Believe it or not, my memory is failing. I do remember Coxbox playing. I remember Dino playing the closing set. I remember Mike McGuire playing a Man with No Name remix that I'll get to as well, and all kinds of amazing stuff. And Martin, Man with No Name, was there. And anyway, it was a massive event. Tsuyoshi had a rare weekend off. We went together, and Simon Bosford was there, and it was massive. But that whole period and sort of that, the range also of the Blue Room sound. In Total Eclipse, what they played in that part of the puzzle, for me it's always really associated with that time. So I'm going to sign off and leave you with the entire track without my commentary. I'm Mark DJ Solitaire, wrapping up episode 81 of Retro Goa Explorations with the beautiful, underappreciated, but magnificent track by Total Eclipse, Collapsar.